Well, our guest joining us this morning, Nanaya Achepim Jantuah, looking all, I don't know the word, the adjective to use. I like your spectacles. And we also have lawyer Afuakwa from the NDC Communications.
Hey! Jesus Christ, you've murdered me.
From the NPP Communications team. Slip of tongue, easy day.
Slip of tongue.
Right, so
it is not
Benjamin,
possible.
just to wrap up what we were talking about before we usher in our guests, the president said emphatically that their behavior, these 53 protesters who are remanded as we speak, their behavior landed them in trouble with the courts. And so he's not responsible for that. Perhaps I'll throw that to our guest first, and then we can pivot from there to your thoughts this morning. Lawyer Fuakwa.
Let me see.
How are you doing this morning?
Oh, God has been merciful and faithful to all of us.
Okay.
And I'm a beneficiary. I hope
walk us through your thoughts this morning.
My sister is also doing well.
Yeah.
You know she's my big sister. It's okay. So let me very good morning.
Really looking good this morning.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
But Lawyer Fuakwa, let's get into your thoughts quickly.
I hope you didn't cause any trouble on this.
No. It's not trouble. Let's go.
Let me say a very good morning to yourself. And extend the greetings of the incoming President of the Republic, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, to your cherished viewers. And to your humble self. In fact, he watched this show every morning before he sets off on his normal duties. And I must say he's probably watching us this morning, and he's taking some glance from whatever you are discussing, whatever your thoughts are. And on the matters of the protesters who have had themselves in conflict with the law, we believe that it is said that where your right ends, someone's right begins. And insofar as we have rights, we must demonstrate our rights reasonably without encumbering the rights of others.
Rights go with responsibilities.
Absolutely, right? Certainly. Once you have a right. You know, the Constitution and Article 12 something also say so. And under Article 21, you exercise the right to demonstrate or to protest or to organize a special event, and you block others also from enjoying the same right that they have, especially people who were going to seek healthcare at the tertiary military hospital, others blocking the roads and playing football, using unwanted materials just to block access because you are demonstrating. I believe that in the interest of justice, insofar as we are in a setting that we have a rule of law and democracy prevails, once the law is taking its own course, we must leave the courts to also proceed.
Is it justice that they are held for 2 weeks? Without bail.
And let me just
not part of the
let me just add this. You know, if you want to kill a fly, right?
Sure.
You can swat it with a fly swatter rather than use a sledgehammer. You will achieve the same result, but one is too heavy-handed. The response they are being given, you see that I think on day one of the latest demonstration, and I saw for myself because on Saturday, for example, I was heading into town, Accra Central. Trust me, close to 6 p.m., they were still, in fact, I think up to about 8 p.m. So even when I was returning from High Street, coming through the Ministry of Finance area, coming back, you know, we got to the National Theatre and this place was so blocked. So we now had to, the MTTD officer really did well, now had to find a way for some of us who were not necessarily using the African Union roundabout to use the other end and go wherever we were going. But that day, you realize that there were some people who were not the demonstrators. I hear they were with some team, they were whatever. They came, they went through the police barricade, not the demonstrators. I'm sure you've seen the videos and stuff. And they did it and nothing happened to them. Some have been asking, why? Is it because it's a certain area, a certain community? But yes, is it not overkill now? Yesterday, twice now, I've been to the Cantonments police station to see some of them. At this point.
Isn't it interesting to see that the NDC organized enough demonstration and no one was accosted or arrested? Because the demonstration was held legally, lawfully, without encumbering the rights of others. Is it not interesting to see that this recent demonstrations ongoing, where they started from Oponglo through the Liberation Road and the likes, no one has been arrested because they are following due process and they have not come in conflict with the law. Certainly, once a democracy hub, we all could see, and I have read on social media and other portals that one of the gentlemen who encountered, the Rasta guy, that he was transporting, is it the mother or somebody, to the hospital, and the access route was blocked, has had the guts of losing that relative or that family member. Is it not interesting that you are protesting just in the interest of the people of Ghana, and at the end of the day, the same people that you are protesting, you are blocking access to them and they are also dying?
I agree.
If the laws are not enforced, then certainly
but let's do this. I have heard rumors from NPP stalwarts. You're not the first person. I think, okay, I don't want to mention his name because we'll be having a conversation later this morning on that. Interestingly, I've only heard it from NPP members so far. There's no confirmation that anybody died on the back of this. But think about it. I was just sharing with Sweetie Abochi that I don't want the nation to shut down, because if we do, guess what? Doctors go on strike and other such actions take place. People could die on the back of doctors going on strike. Is that not the case? Mr. Fakwa, yes. Is that not the case? Doctors go on strike and people die. If they go on strike, people could die. But you look at the overarching problems in our country, people are dying. Mr. Fakwa, I'm sure you followed in recent times that conversation about the fact that even now, foreign entities, you know, some years back we became the #1 exporter of yam. Sure. I don't know whether we still are, but I know at least about 2-3 years ago we were #1. Now they are telling us that they are showing high concentrations of heavy metals. If it's affecting yam, you can be sure cassava is affected. You can be sure plantain is affected. So if you talk about, oh, these people hit the streets and maybe one person died, unconfirmed, I can agree with you that I've always sat here and said that certain actions shouldn't have been taken. Those, taking off billboards and all of that. What business do you have? Blocking a road if it's an unapproved route and playing football. What business do you have? But how about the many who are dying? How about the many who will develop kidney disease, liver disease, lung disease, all kinds of cancers on the back of what is happening? Sure. Who knows what we are doing to ourselves? You see,
the assumption that you are sharing out this morning.
Assumptions?
Yes, is that
these are reports.
No, they're reports. And you have not shown us where these yams are coming from. Are you getting it? You see, most of the yam that we consume comes from the transitional belt. Kintampo areas, Ejura areas, name them. And the northern belt.
The conversation is about galamsey.
No, galamsey. But you are talking about yams.
Yes.
And the yams we know in Ghana, most of these yams, the Dioscorea alata, Dioscorea retundata, Dioscorea dentepruca, and all these things come from the transitional belt of our country. Are you getting it? Not from the forest regions. Most of them. At least the forest regions contribute about.
Do you know though that there's illegal mining up north? Are you aware of that? Even recently in the Bongo area, gold has been discovered. And by the way, this is the GSA, the Ghana Standards Authority, that was saying this.
So let's ask
Ghana Standards Authority.
No, let's ask GSA where the samples of these yams highly contaminated with heavy metals, were selected. And tests were run. You see, we cannot.
Are you saying that? And unless you know exactly.
And I think when you're done, we should bring in another.
I'm surprised.
You shouldn't be surprised.
I think we are doing one-on-one.
No. It's just because he's got a certain.
He's over 10 minutes. And on this show, it's not done like that.
Panic without necessarily knowing where these yams are coming
for 10 minutes and over.
You see, because you see, the weedicides. No, let me come in. No, let me come in, please. Let me come in. Let me land here. The weedicides that we use contain heavy metals. Are you aware of that?
Pardon me.
The weedicides that we use, chemical farming that we do today, all these weedicides contain heavy metals, one or the other. So if you are saying that the yams contain, no, you shouldn't be chuckling.
I'm sure.
The yams contain heavy metals.
Agriculture. I'm sure.
I did agriculture too.
Fully
I
aware.
can see that.
I did agriculture too.
My grandfather was a cocoa farmer. I'm sure you are fully aware that there are certain levels that are acceptable for pesticides and all of these things, for the very reason that you don't want them to seep into the plants that you are putting forth.
Let us be careful.
And that there are appreciable levels that are acceptable and levels that go beyond the appreciable levels. You are fully
So,
aware of that. So this bit about
let us be careful in ascribing in totality that it is as a result of illegal mining that heavy metals are finding its way into the yam that we are consuming.
Nanaya, so you're taking out the story.
There are no basis to establish that.
Yam or no yam, although the GSA, this is coming from the GSA.
Yeah, so the lady who spoke made mention of the fact that she had conferred with someone from the GSA who had told her this on grounds of anonymity. So let's leave it.
So Nanaya, what I'm saying is that,
Sweetie, you see the question you asked him, he hasn't answered it.
Ah, well.
So give me time and let me answer.
But
No, you asked him about Nanado's stand on the arrest. And that's what you asked him.
I answered it simply.
No, you didn't answer.
Let her also speak, please.
You just went on and on defending galamsey. Good morning to your viewers, and good morning to yourself, and good morning to my brother. For my brother, he's in the wrong place, so whenever you say it, he doesn't want to listen. See, the point is that you see how you are struggling this morning.
I'm not struggling.
You see, the point is that now I was surprised Nanado spoke to a foreign media house, and there has been calls from within, and he's never granted an interview to any local media house. And also to think that even when he went to the GG Awards, he was so angry, he looked so upset. And when the issue was spoken about, he didn't even allow any clarity or any interview to be conducted, but he gives access to, is it a radio?
France 24.
France 24.
Yeah. Perhaps he's more answerable to international community and foreign press than the citizens who put him
that is what it looks like. Because as it is, even if your child wrongs you, there is a way you punish that child. You understand? Maybe they went off board, but I mean, I still maintain that the police, they've been trained in crowd control, and they foresee some of these things, or they should foresee some of these incidents when there is a demonstration or a protest. So what did they do? They had the opportunity to remove the barricade and throw it away. Why did they let it exist? They could have stopped them from tearing down the billboards. It was wrong though, but tearing down the flags and they could have stopped them. Because the police was armed, right? So why didn't they stop them? And even just showing your gun would deter somebody.
And if I may just come in here, you speak to some of them. Like I said, I've spoken to some of them. Even yesterday, I was at the Cantonment's police station. And some of them claim they were not even, when this tearing down of billboards, they did not engage in it. They had no idea. Yet it is part of their rap sheet, their charge. The charge. It is on there that they did that when they were not even engaged in this.
I attended Alan Chemating's evening with IE, and he was very categorical about it. And he said, how on earth can you charge somebody for unlawful assembly when you stayed with a person for 3 days? Do you get me? You charge them for unlawful assembly, but you were with them for 3 days. So what is it? And I agreed with him perfectly, because even before everything started, I asked the question that, how can you be with somebody for this long and you charge the person for unlawful assembly? And the police was there. If the police was there, why was there an unlawful assembly? Because if the assembly was unlawful, then the police should have not been there. The police should rather be there to take them out or to sack them. Me, I have come to the conclusion that, you see, this government is not ready to fight galamsey today, tomorrow, or forevermore. They would rather we die as we are dying now than to fight galamsey. Because they have access to all manner of medical care abroad. When they get sick, they are taken abroad to be
treated. Case in point.
Me, I don't want to mention anybody's name. Do you get me? And we have people, you see, this galamsey fight should not be political. Because some people, I believe even though they are in the NPP, when they are sick, even Kolebu will be difficult for them to access. Do you understand? Because even when you go there, it is money.
Right.
So, I mean, they don't, sweetie, they don't want to fight it.
Okay.
Me, I'm afraid of the strike, right? Because I'm really afraid of the strike. Because as Ben said, the medical aspect of it, certainly people, they are telling us that, oh, the medical field will be exempted. But even if they have limited service, it's not going to be easy.
Some people are going to be impacted. But
Yes.
but the thing
Even
is,
transportation. How do you get to the medical facility
yes.
in the first place?
but
For
Nanaya,
GPRT of TUC, yes.
if we're going to die en masse, maybe we would still risk some of the consequences. And, you know, it's interesting. Some entities that you would not usually see. You know, my fellow Catholics, the Archbishop, the Apostolic Nuncio, they come together.
Yeah, they are coming.
On Friday.
Yes.
We are all, I'm Catholic, and I'll be joining them after my show.
No, but you don't have me. I want them.
We will. I hear even fetish priests say
I saw that yesterday.
They will join the demonstration on Friday when we are done. I don't usually participate in demonstrations because of Ghana and how we do our things, but it's a prayer walk. It's not a demonstration. Prayer walk, and I'll join them and prayerfully we'll go and submit that petition to the Jubilee House.
Okay,
come
where
Friday.
are you
Because
starting?
the way some of
where
these things are going,
No, but
it's starting from the Holy Spirit's Cathedral, and I think
okay.
it will end after the.
I think the
petition is
charismatics
at Christ the King
should also
Catholic Church.
come
Okay,
together.
let's get into the
But the
newspapers
point
and
is
then we
that-
discuss further.
Please, let
Yeah.
me,
Please wrap.
I'm making an appeal.
Okay.
Please, they should come in their cassock.
Why?
No, so that we see
I'm
that.
sure the priests and the rest, there will be some of them will be
they
in
should
their
be in their
cassocks.
cassock. They should go and wear tracksuits. They should wear cassock. So that everybody will see that now Namado is fighting everybody and that even the church has risen up against them. So they should be in their cassock.
So the Daily Guide newspaper, let me start from there. $360 million IMF fourth tranche coming. Your passports are ready, according to the Foreign Affairs Minister, Shelia Yokubuche. I can't jail protesters, says Nanedo Dankwe Akufo-Addo. Lashikitele hits back on council suspension, and Ghana records 11.75% non-traditional exports growth. I only do 3 stories here briefly, and then we'll come to you for your reactions. But I just want to start by saying, notice how the response of the president is not that I've heard the cries of the people. Although protesters' behavior landed them in trouble with the police and courts, I have heard what they're saying about galamsey. I am actually working on it. It is that he is not responsible. Let's move on from there. Let me start with a story on page 3 about passports being ready for collection, according to Shelia Yokubuche. Now, the Ministry for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration has announced that passports are now available for collection at designated passport application centers for applicants who have had their biometric data captured. In a public notice, the ministry urged all passport applicants who had submitted their application since 2016 but had not yet collected their passports to visit their respective passport application centers. Quote, collection is available Monday through Friday between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Applicants are reminded to bring their collection slips for verification, the statements read. So if you fall in that category of people from 2016, if you applied for passport and you're yet to collect it, the ministry is saying that now you can collect that passport. And 360 million IMF fourth tranche coming. And that story is also on page 3. Let me get into that briefly. Ghana is set to receive fourth tranche of the International Monetary Fund loan program worth $360 million following a staff-level agreement on the third review of the country's $3 billion extended credit facility. Now, this development is a significant boost to the country's economy, which has been showing signs of stabilization and growth. IMF mission staff to Ghana, Stefan Roded, told the media last Friday that the staff-level agreement was reached following the conclusion of a 2-week assessment of the country's fiscal data by the mission staff from the fund. The story did say that the economy is showing significant boosts. I don't know if that is reflected in our, our pockets, but if the economy is doing so well, you don't have to tell us all the time in the paper how well it's doing. We will be the ones to
what's
tell you that.
$360 million. Note that this is the fourth tranche. My question, though, how is that impacting the Ghana cedi, for example? Cedi dollar is around 17 now. Swiss franc is over 18.
Right.
The British pound is over 20. So I don't know how this is really helping us. Maybe the gold coin that the Bank of Ghana has put out will help us get there.
Okay, let me add one last story and then I'll come to you, I guess. So Ghana recorded a 0.75 growth in non-traditional exports for the period between January and December 2023, contributing 24% to overall national exports. The chief executive of the Ghana Exports Promotion Authority, Dr. Ifua Asabi-Asare, who disclosed this as the Ministry of Information's Meet the Press series in Accra yesterday, said NTEs, that is non-traditional exports, earned the country $3.944 billion, wow, during the period, reflecting a rise from $3.531 billion recorded in 2022. These figures, when you hear them, you think that there's so much money coming into the country, or so much revenue, should I say, from exports. Yet, well, yet it's so accommodating. Nanaya, let me start with Lawyer Afako has been quiet for a while. Let me start with you. Your quick reflections on these three stories. Yeah,
so it's a sign of positive growth that the non-traditional agricultural sector is also aiding us and propelling us, giving us over 4 billion, close to 4 billion in revenue, US dollars in revenue. Is a step in the right direction, and we must encourage that. Again,
where is that money though? Where did the money go? How much are we looking for from IMF in total? And how much money are they saying that's the...
That's a different conversation. That's a different conversation.
Because it's not all about money coming into the country.
If you are even assessing our receipt from the oil sector, our receipt from the mining sector and the likes, it goes beyond these things. Are you getting it? But what we are looking for the IMF is for, you know why we went to IMF? On balance of payment deficits and the like, to be able to enhance our financial standing as a country. And certainly, once we have qualified and there's a staff level agreement, we believe that the IMF board will sit on this soon, and the fourth tranche will be released, $360 million US dollars will be released. When Benjamin was speaking, he was mentioning that the dollar, the exchange rate fluctuations, because it's demand driven. Once the demand, we are getting to itching into the Christmas festivity, a lot of imports will be coming. And certainly they will use this foreign exchange in importing their commodities or products into the country. So they will need more of this forex to be able to do.
Mr. Afakwa, let's be careful on that. It's a very slippery slope you are on. The dollar has been 16, at least 16 for how long now?
As far as I've observed, about 3 weeks
it started on this stretch, not anywhere close to. And now even the worry, you're actually making a solid point, but you're making it in maybe retrospectively. Now that we're approaching, even with these $360 million coming in, we've hit October. Between this month, November, ahead of the elections, that's where it's really going to ramp up. But if now, this is where it should have fallen to maybe 9, 10, maybe the 11 that we hit at some point. And then even if it goes up to about 12 or 13. We're already at the doorstep of 17. If this hits, I mean, we can't contain it.
We are not 17. We are at the doorstep of 17. You are telling us.
Do you know that online transactions? No, we are at 17. Online transactions, I can show you. Those online transactions people do from whatever, it's a 17 they charge. Online, it's a 17.
So if you want to know the rate, that's the Bank of Ghana rate, and the commercial bank rates are the official rates that we can do. People, you can go to Abuchi side and they will even give you a different rate.
I am telling you that if you are transacting online, anything
or
you are doing online, any payment, it is 17.
You remember the free forwarders demonstrated at the Tema port against the shipping line because of their use of a particular rate as
they were also using something around 17 and above.
As against the rate, the standard rate that the Bank of Ghana and the commercial bank rates are.
Are the standard rates really
in terms of the rates, we go with the official rates of the country. And I'm telling you that in terms of these forex fluctuations, it also stands more largely on the demand-driven aspect of it. And once we are in the last quarter of the year inching into Christmas, certainly the importation of goods and other products will also enhance. And once we are getting $360 million from the IMF, at least it will give us some level of respite.
So that's the hope now.
No, it will give us
$360 million.
It will give us some level of respite because we are getting some forex, and it will come to also consolidate the demand.
Nanaya, all of you, you know what this reminds me of? Sometimes we just have to, I don't know. Nanado, before becoming president, under Kufuor, when the cedi was redenominated, 1 cedi, $1. Now, 2 cedis, $1. Today is what? Even if we are giving it 16.
$1, 16 cedis.
Well, it is what it is. Maybe we can get into...
Nanaya hasn't reflected on these stories yet.
I mean, my issue is, as you said, $4 billion last year, and we are in IMF.
He says they are two entirely different.
No, what is two entirely different? If IMF, we go to IMF because you were broke. You don't go to IMF when you have money. He's talking about balance of payment deficits. I mean, if you have money, your balance of payments, I mean, it's okay. You have money, you're able to do your account and everything is fine. But if you don't have money, then you go for external support. So if we had exports $4 billion last year, then certainly why are we in IMF? Do you get me? And you see, me, one thing I don't like about even this international community, the international financial institutions, they are saying that Ghana is in a better place. Ghana is the economy is stronger. What do they mean? Because you see all this fiscal data that they give us, this paper is on paper. It does not reflect in our lives. Because if we are doing well, why are we still in IMF and coming to take was 360 million?
Yeah.
Why?
And it also feeds off data we give them.
No, but then they are giving us money, so they should know what is going on. These cooked figures every day. IMF is telling.
Why do you call them cooked?
And IMF program, you can have a cooked figure.
No,
Why do you call them cooked?
Please sit there.
Mr. Afuakwa, let's not make that mistake. There have been so many concerns with our budgets and
I mean,
high line and low line items and what we decide to report, even when we had the cap of 5%. As for that one, I'm sure you know very well that politicians know how to massage. But I'm asking you, why do you think?
No, because you see what they are telling us. You see, the reality does not support the data. The reality does not support.
But the mere fact that you don't see certain developments, you don't see the impact on your pocket. And so, you know how the microeconomy is.
It's not
the macroeconomy, it takes time to trickle down into pockets. The fact that you don't see it there also does not mean that nothing is being done. You know that.
If something is being done, is it yielding the results for the nation?
Okay, so for you it is the...
Do you get me? Okay. I mean, there's certainly something is being done, but how good is that something being done? Do you think that nothing is being done about galamsey? People are trying to do something, but is it worth anything?
Okay, let's quickly get into the paper so that we can... Let's try the Daily Searchlight.
Mr. Fokker, walk us through your paper.
Okay.
But you need your glasses.
There's a Daily Searchlight. I don't use glasses now, you know. The Daily Searchlight.
Nanaya, you're being particularly mischievous this morning.
Reason for Ghana's debt, NPP, NDC are stealing all funds or hitting to. Exports brought in $4 billion last year.
Same story.
Trouble brews in National Cadet Corps. The others are not too clear. 3,000 cooked eggs distributed at Jumapo to promote nutritional benefits.
You can do one main story.
I can do one main story.
Yeah.
I would like to do the reason for Ghana's debt. NPP and NDC are stealing all funds or hitting to.
Is that Nana Ohininto?
Nana Ohininto, yes. So I partially agree with this story because
but maybe you could get into the story, just read a little bit so we find out why he's...
Oh, we can even speak to this story because of the Sedinam Tamakulu saga.
Okay.
This is it, but the print doesn't look very...
You said NPP and NDC. Why are you talking about Sedinam Tamakulu?
Oh, she no NDC. Nana Ohininto, Senior Advisor and Director of Elections. No, you see, but it all stems from our desk stock. And you see, Madam Sedinam Tamakulu, now declared as a fugitive criminal, who was convicted by the High Court Accra for misappropriating some funds of state, was a member of the then erstwhile NDC administration, the chief executive of Maslock. And we've had cause to say that most of the appointees of the NDC have had to get themselves in conflict with the law as far as misappropriation of state funds are concerned. So if Nana Ohininto is chiding that our debt stock as a result of stealing between NPP and NDC, I would disagree with him because I have not seen any NPP member or NPP appointee being incarcerated as a result of misappropriation of funds.
I think we know why, right? Do you know why?
Why?
Oh, it's because the president is so keen on, the rule of law and due process that every time, the rule of law and due process apply. And so far, we've not got anybody from Ejenim Boateng Ejay to all the others we have seen. Because he respects due process.
And he's a lawyer himself.
He's a lawyer.
Agapo,
so we've never succeeded in.
Let me.
Oh no, but I'm speaking for you.
Let me affirm your position.
We've never been able to.
Let me affirm your position that there's no statute of limitation as far as criminal liabilities are concerned or crimes are concerned. And since 1992, the NDC has been in government. The NPP has been in government. The NPP has been in opposition. The NDC has been in opposition.
Right.
But when the NPP went to opposition after the tenure of office of President Kufuor, how many of the appointees of President Kufuor were incarcerated or convicted of misappropriation of funds?
I think you have lived in this country
the due process you are mentioning, I am only affirming
long enough
your
in this
position.
country
Yes.
also to realize that there were calls and many people could have been prosecuted, but there were calls. That is why you remember there was some sort of fractious relationship between the two former presidents, Rawlings and Atta Mills. May their souls rest in peace.
It's not established.
And again, you also know that if we are talking about dealing with people who have, how many people can't we mention?
We can't thrive on
Charles Edubwahim, for example.
We can't thrive on hearsay. No, you see, we can't thrive on hearsay to be able to rationalize these positions that we are talking about. We're talking of realities.
Mr. Fakwa,
we are talking about realities, factual matters.
From his resignation, Charles Edubwahim, and I'm not insinuating anything. What happened? Well, the Cecilia Dapa issue, even before it came out, the president wrote that he was confident in her, innocence, integrity being shown at the end. I'm merely saying that even if it comes to that fight, the former president at least had about 2 people, including Abu Gapele, under his watch, that he threw, so to speak, under the bus and let them face the music, the long arms of the law. Don't you feel it's rather an indictment that with all of these issues we've heard and dealt with, some of which have gone before certain institutions, we still come to the point where not even one, supposedly, that must be a pretty whistle-clean government, right?
Absolutely.
And also, you're wrong. The story, just before you come in, the story is not about Edinam Tamaklo or anybody else.
No,
it's
he was just...
Why do you want me to say? No, you can't do that.
Calm down. We are talking about newspapers.
He said NDC, NPP. I mentioned Sednam. You said Tamaklo as an example.
Your point is...
So you can't tell me I am wrong. You are wrong.
But not NPP, right?
Now, I'm saying
is that what you're saying?
I used empirical evidence in establishing what Nana Hinto is trying to put out.
That's what you're saying.
What I'm saying is that NPP, right? The story
NDC
is coming from Nana Hinto based on something entirely different. I just want to put that out there for our viewers because the story, we put out the story that reason for Ghana's death, and it didn't mention anything like that.
The reason for
it talks about corruption, breaking away from
Tamaklo's matter wasn't not corruption. That this woman, after taking this Obatampa microfinance money, 500,000 Ghana cedis, met this woman at Bachona, is it Shell filling station, dumped the money in her car boot, drove off without paying back into the coffers of the Mashlock. Right. Is that not corruption?
Okay. Thank you very much.
How can we rationalize this to say you did not mention said Nam so we can't mention said Nam Tamaklo. So it is NDC, NPP, and I am telling you that NDC is more corrupt, and I'm not Hinto has nailed this right on the head, but putting in the NPP was not the right thing to do because there is no empirical fact to support that claim.
Thank you for making it clear that when it comes to corruption, the NDC is in a comfortable lead, that it's only the NDC and that the NPP, I mean, absolutely. You are saintly. You are absolutely. You are saints on earth.
Saintly.
So, yes, please come in, Nanaya.
Why are you giving him so much time? Today I don't even know what is going on here. You see, the point is that
Nanaya, we have limited time. So let's hit it.
You are making it.
We have limited time.
No,
there are times you've come on and you've also spoken
I haven't spoken a lot more. If you are doing one-on-one with him, do you get me? So I mean, everything there is saying. $58 million National Cathedral. That is what. The only thing that we can look out for is a piece of a swimming pool.
Let me give you the account.
15 million was used to cook food for the games that we did. What is the name of it?
All African Games.
All African. $50 million, so not CDs. Food.
But you don't know. I mean, this was probably
please 15 million.
Proper 3-course meal for everybody.
58
made by a cordon bleu chef.
Please, I beg you. Me, I've done my calculation. We don't have time. $58 million National Cathedral. $58 million, not even for foundation. No. The only thing that you find there is a swimming pool.
The information minister says that in this day and age of advanced technology, it is possible that some parts of this National Cathedral are actually under, construction in different parts of the country or outside the country, and it is possible.
Who said that?
No, she didn't say. I had an interview with her, and I asked her about this National Cathedral, and she says it is possible that things will be manufactured and processed elsewhere, and then lifted from wherever and brought to.
Who was saying this?
Oh, that's Fatima Abubakar on women power politics. I asked about it.
Oh, you mean the information minister?
The information minister. She said it is possible.
No,
And I'm
that's the
paraphrasing.
catchphrase for the
It is
Bawumia
possible
campaign.
that some parts of this cathedral. I'm just giving you context, so you cannot say that all we've seen is a whole.
I like Fatima.
Perhaps something is happening somewhere that we cannot see at the
We
moment.
beg you. She cannot say that. This is God's house. You should not play with that. No, I mean seriously.
Okay.
The house of God we are building. It is not an infirmary or a factory. Do you get me? 58 million, what is being manufactured that till today? That prefab is not ready. $58 million.
Nanaya, would you like to leave us with your headlines? So without just the headlines.
I'm already depressed because of what I have heard. God's house. YEA equipped 3,000 youth with tools and cash. I met an Uber driver who said this one is just a hoax. A Futu municipal vows to demolish unauthorized billboards. I hope the unauthorized billboards are not NDC billboards. Upon Nkrumah explains Bawumia's vision at Gimpa, Ghana edges closer to global capital markets. Small-scale miners arm task force to protect water bodies.
Okay, we have to go actually. Let me just add these headlines from the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Fight against galamsey menace, deal decisively with illegal mining. Association of Small-Scale Miners demands immediate government action to halt destruction. And health alert. PSGH pushes government to stockpile Mpox vaccines against upsurge of cases. And that's how we're going to cap off the news review this morning. We're very grateful that our guests joined us. I'm just curious, before we go, why is it that in Ghana we like, elsewhere, if you're a lawyer, they just call you Mr. Something or Mrs. Something. Why do we like this bit about lawyer Benjamin Akakpo, lawyer?
It helps with the politics.
It's not a title, is it? You are Mr. or Mrs. That's your title, isn't it?
You can also check from our sister country, Nigeria. And
I've been in so many situations. You are Mr. and that is it.
No,
it's okay to call you Mr.
No, I write my name.
I
write my name in Okankra for
Esquire.
But you see, Benjamin,
we have to go.
On the matter of the National Cathedral of Ghana, I believe on 17 June 2022, a statement was released by the National Cathedral of Ghana. There has been a recent published data from Deloitte or something. Deloitte. Some audit from Deloitte. Let us avert our mind from history.
All right.
And be able to discuss these matters than politicizing everything, every matter of state.
Inokafuagwa is a member of the NPP's communications team. We also have Nanaya Achapim. Please. Nanaya Achapim Jantuah is former General Secretary of the CPP. And of course, I did this together with Sweetie Abachi.
Why is it bad?
Let's segue into sports now. Up next.
No.
If you are building
their findings are out.
But
But their findings are out. So.